Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Triforce Hacks podcast. This is episode 21, and we're going to be talking all about the Zaun Cup today. Before we get into that, though, I'm your host, SpicyAppies. I'm joined by my co-host, Jirachy.
Hi. Hello.
And sorry, we're using a different. We're using Zoom this time, and I need to turn. Jirachy, can you talk again? I need to make sure your audio is good.
Sure. Okay. Hi.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Cool. We're missing Ramkev this week because, understandably so, his mental is a little boomed from Zaun Cup. We'll get into it later. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have the two of us this week. Jirachy,
Hey,
should be louder.
it's a good time.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So, we'll just start how we always do. So we didn't have an episode last week. I missed everyone. Last week, right, everyone was here prepping for Zaun Cup, because you casted it.
Yes.
Kevin and I played in it.
That's how my week went. I fucking had my first major cast.
Yeah, congratulations.
Let's go!
Yeah. That is how your week went. I was thinking, oh yeah, and my week was also good. Did well with Zaun Cup and then just streamed. So,
People clap.
sheesh.
Yeah. The past 2 weeks have been a lot, but it's okay. It's done. We casted Zaun Cup. You and Kevin played. Yeah,
It was a really busy couple of weeks for everyone.
really was. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's been a little insane, but I'm glad that we're finally settled back down and able to do an episode again, because it felt so weird to not do it
Yeah, I
last
know.
week.
Like seriously, I was just like, wait, there's something's missing in my life. Also, I'd realized this is like almost back down to this wasn't the original planned format, but this is like actually the origin of the podcast, just us talking to each other.
Yeah, because the origin was because we were, I think you won a coaching session or something from a tournament that I hosted. That it was wasn't it a Rasmus Appy tournament? You won a coaching session?
I think it was I gifted some number of subs during like a subathon or
right.
during a subs go to Mateo stream. I don't one of those. I don't remember.
It was during the subathon where the subs went to Mateo.
Oh, okay. So both is what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I won. I gifted enough subs to get a coaching, and I was like, I want this coaching. Yeah.
Yep, and then
So,
we just talked on Discord. We basically just like had a discussion instead of a coaching session about a game. And then Maddie in chat was like, "Oh, you should start a podcast. This is awesome."
Yeah.
Like, who do we get? We got Kevin. Yeah. Back to the origins. Crazy to think we've been doing this for 21 weeks. Actually.
Holy shit, we are coming up on half a year of this.
It's kind of insane.
What
it feels
the
good.
fuck?
I
Wait,
know.
this has actually been going for that fucking long. Wow.
It's kind of mind blowing.
It really is.
Time's flown by.
Yeah, I know.
Because it was right before Set 6 came out, right? Yeah.
Yeah? Wait, no. What? No, it wasn't. It wasn't
Wasn't
like
it?
right before. It was like
It
around.
was in Set. Yeah, 5.5.
It was like halfway through 5.5. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Wait, we've been doing this for we're like
We
boomers
really
now.
have.
We're podcast boomers.
We're podcast. Oh my god.
We're experienced now.
And we can actually say that because like there is more podcasts that are Zoomers, which there's one coming up right after this for the live audience. Go support Don't Talk If You Don't Know, which starts like around in like a little under an hour after we're gonna end.
Yep, at 9:30. Then this won't mean much to people watching or listening on YouTube or Spotify and whatnot.
The people on YouTube and Spotify, go listen to the recording of Don't Talk If You Don't Know episode 2.
Yes. I think it starts at 9:30 p.m. EST, 6:30 EST. So that should be coming on probably like an hour or half an hour-ish after we end. So it'll be kind of perfect. Be pretty good. So our weeks were good, really busy. We're back to the podcast. Let's talk about the Zaun Cup. So for everyone who does not know, it's been a very busy couple of weeks in general on the podcast, and TFT, I guess, on the podcast by association. But so if you don't know what the NA format is in terms of competitive TFT and to get to regionals and worlds and whatnot, there are 3 big open bracket events. I think the Innovation Cup is open bracket as well.
No, it's not actually.
Two big open brackets.
Innovation Cup is actually the exact same format as MSI.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No.
So in the first half of set 6, we already had the Build Over Cup, and then there's a Challenger Series, and then there's the Zaun Cup. And the Zaun Cup was what happened this past weekend, and it was a big chance to get qualifier points to and just strut your stuff and potentially get into mid set as well. So qualifier points for regionals, and then getting into mid set were kind of the two big reasons to participate in this tournament. And it was a fucking crazy weekend. It was insane.
Like,
where do we want to start?
Oh my god! Normally, a lot of times we talk about tournaments and we want to talk about like tournament meta and the patch, and we're not going to get to that today. There's no shot.
So much shit to talk about.
It's so much shit to talk about with like the competitive, like on the competitive side, not just like this is how the games went. So
yeah, I guess do you want to start with just our roles in the tournament?
I mean, yeah, like, well, Appies was playing. He won his lobby. People clap,
Sheesh.
Which did nothing other than extra money and extra qualifier points, because the main draw of Zaun Cup was the winner of each final day lobby automatically qualified to mid-set.
Yes, which is in a week from now-ish.
And Appies already had an auto-qualified spot to mid-set because of getting second in Challenger Series. So, cool, extra money, I guess. Which also, looking, like, when you look at the qualifier points, so for mid-set, the exact breakdown of invites is 4 from Piltover Cup, 2 from Set 6 Chal Series, 4 from Zaun Cup, and 22 top qualifier points, ignoring ignoring anyone who had already auto qualified. The thing is, all 10 other people who literally all 10 were in top 32 for qualifier points.
Yeah.
Because just if anyone who got an auto qual spot just smurfed the other 2 tournaments. Or smurf the other one for people who weren't in Challenger Series. So it just became top 32 qualifier points.
Yeah,
so,
I think a lot of people. So for for example, like in my lobby, I think almost everyone had already qualified through. A couple people hadn't, but almost so I think so. Second was Solus, and Solus also already qualified through qualifier points. So a whole list of people who just qualified in all kinds of ways.
I think I started doing the math, and I think out of everyone who was there on final day of Zaun Cup, all but 6 people who had played in Piltover already were auto qualified through qualifier points. There were there were 6. What is it? It was 6 people who didn't play in Piltover, so all their qualifier points were from Zaun Cup. They couldn't auto qualify through qualifier points. They had to get if they were going to mid set, they had to get the spot by winning the lobby. Besides them, there were, I want to say, 6 other people that needed a good finish on the final day because they didn't do super well at Piltover. And then the rest, it was just a clump of, I want to say, 20 people who had already auto qualified.
Yeah. I think that a lot of the draw for that tournament was really for regional, for qualifier points, because I think the amount of points you get increases tournament to tournament, but it's still so important to get as many as you can. And there are some spots off of ladder, for example, and off of Innovation Cup and stuff, but the most consistent way to get into regionals is just to have the most qualifier points, right?
And so Natures is calling out in chat, basically Zaun Cup more or less was a It was a tournament for qualifier points for regionals. If you made day 3, you were probably good for MSI and had Piltover already. What you make he's saying in chat, make day 3 to hit MSI, and performing on day 3 is for regionals. And yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's a good way to view it, I think. And then, so that's the players. Jirachy's role was their first big major casting gig. Sheesh! People clap.
Quick call. Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit.
And they did great. They did a great job.
I like to think I did pretty well. Okay, I'll say day 2, which was the first day of cast. I definitely kind of felt a little bit of rust. It was like I hadn't casted in since Lab Partners. It'd been like a month or so. I was like, okay, I just gotta get back into this. And day three felt so good. Although day three was kind of touch and go. So for people who weren't following on Twitter or had no idea, or for people who were watching Zaun Cup and noticed between day two and day three, my background completely changed. Day two was this background. Day three was not because
Oh, I actually didn't notice that.
yeah, also that yeah. Well, I mean, if you noticed it, but I woke up on Sunday and had no internet, so
Oh, right, right.
I
Okay.
had to scramble to find the place to cast from. Basically, my friend Jonah pulled through. Thank God. I borrowed his
What's
setup.
up, Jonah?
Yeah, and honest, thank God I got that. Like, I tweeted that like I had no internet and I had a place to cast from within a half hour. It was nuts.
Yeah,
They respond.
Twitter did its shit.
Twitter got on top of that shit
Twitter was
fast.
on top
I
of
know,
it.
seriously. Like, thank
I was
God too.
surprised how quick TFT Twitter was just like, you got, oh, we got you. Um,
Yeah.
good
So
shit.
yeah,
Good
but
shit,
the
TFT
day
Twitter.
honest once I like finally settled in, the day three cast felt so fucking good. Like holy
It was
shit.
awesome.
It was so good.
It was awesome.
Casting with Frodan is always a great time. Um yeah. Also getting my for my first major event, being on the same desk as Casanova was so fucking fun. Cause and Casanova was telling me this too, like they were saying like, hey, um like since I got back into hosting TFT, I like Casanova was saying he was seeing me. It was like, when are we gonna get to work together? Maybe like 5 months from now, like 4, 5, 6, whatever. Nope, his second event, and we're already working together as two non-binary people on the same caster desk. So that was pretty great.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was it was an awesome cast. It was an awesome weekend.
Yeah. Oh my
Just like
God. Yeah.
content wise. Yeah, the main cast was great. Uh, do we want to talk about this now? Because we can talk about what was not great about the main cast.
You know, once you have double the trans people on the desk, you get double the transphobia, and by double the transphobia, I mean not double, like significantly more. It was
Yeah, it was I so for what am I trying to say? For reference here, so when I would watch the main cast was in between games, right? I would go watch and see like the in between the game thing, and even at that point, like I would go to the chat and there'd just be so many people saying really stupid transphobic shit, or like it wasn't always like super like hateful, but it was just like ignorant as well. You know, people would just say stupid shit
there's
constantly,
also
and it
the
was just
type of
annoying.
transphobia that's like disguised as ignorant, but is really just
Yes, exactly. They're
it
like,
is flat out
is that guy
transphobia.
wearing a dress? It's stupid shit
Your
like that. That
transphobia is disguised as a question. It's still transphobia for what it's worth.
yeah.
And I
Um.
saw a little bit on day two because I like was peeking at chat some, and then I just closed it and didn't see for what it's worth. I didn't see a single goddamn thing on day three. And you know what? Shout out to the fucking mods in the TFT channel for taking care of that. I would open the chat in between games, and I'd just see deleted message, and I don't know what that said.
Like hell yeah.
I assume it fucking sucked, but I don't have to deal with that. Yay.
Yeah, and speaking of TFT Twitter as well, big shout out to the official Teamfight Tactics Twitter account because they made an official statement saying because Rue made a big tweet about how it was disgusting to see all this like blatant transphobia in the chat. Uh, and then they responded to that and said, "Yeah, we agree. We're gonna do a better job moving forward." And that was great to see. There was also, okay, I think the most tilting comment I've ever seen was some shitter in replying to Rue's post saying like you're not helping, stupid, shut up, something like that. I was like, this guy has to be the biggest idiot. Oh, I just don't feel like that exists. Regardless, it was awesome that Teamfight Tactics like official Twitter actually or official like Riot responded to it.
yeah,
So
it's actually like that is also is kind of the whole point. Like I don't if I get transphobic bullshit, like it's it sucks, but I can handle it more or less, more or less. But really, what it's what like the end goal that is the good outcome is that I want it. Just the end goal of me being so out in general is that I want to demonstrate to the other queer, trans, non-binary players that this community welcomes them. And no matter where we go, we're gonna deal with transphobic bullshit. How we find a welcoming community is knowing the community does not support that bullshit and actively like take steps to get rid of it. That's how we feel welcome in the community. And there were multiple people went on my retweet that said it's awesome to see my favorite game tweeting out in support of this. And it affirms for them, it affirms for us, like this is a place we are welcome. And that does more than anything. That does more than flat out getting rid of transphobic bullshit. It's demonstrating that the scene is welcome to us, and that I and me as a trans person can succeed and be welcomed. So I
not brushing under the rug seems huge.
Yeah, exactly. Like they totally could have just like brushed under the rug, not said anything, but it's I'm really glad they said something. And I saw some people on Twitter, not Twitter, on Reddit who were being really cynical and were just like, "Oh, like wow, this is just some company, well, some corporation making a statement to cash in on PR points." But like that's if it was Riot Games as a whole, I'd be like, "Okay, maybe." Loki probably, but didn't come from Riot. It came from TFT, and knowing how small the TFT dev team is, how much they care about us, like genuinely, and also I did also realize in kind of fallout of everything how much of the dev team is queer. Like a decent amount of them popped up, and I was like, TFT dev queer. Oh, there's a lot of them. So it's knowing that statement came from TFT in particular, like that I fully believe that statement is genuine, and this is coming from someone who is very anti-capitalist. So if it's coming from me, it's yeah.
Speaking of that Reddit thread, because I read it.
That was a mistake.
there's
some bullshit in there.
Yeah. I remember I feel like one of the biggest takeaways from that was watching Bryce just fucking esports law destroy someone in the comment section that was being an asshole.
I love Bryce.
They just fucking obliterated him. I was like laying in bed reading that. I was like, holy shit. It's the internet and they still can't show their face anymore.
The man actually died. Also, that comment got deleted by the mods that Bryce responded to the next day. So yeah.
Actually, I didn't even see what it said. I just saw it deleted, and then I saw Bryce fucking go.
I took a screenshot in it. I think it referred to me and Casanova as failed men, and I saw that and couldn't stop fucking laughing.
Yeah, that's
it's not funny. It shouldn't be funny to literally anyone else.
It's funny that's not gonna be that stupid.
Besides, like, the target of that shit, it's not funny. But to me, I'm just like, oh, they're coming up with new things. I've never been referred to as a failed man specifically. I've been referred to as just a straight up man, but failed man is a new one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So there was a whole lot of, I mean, we'll get into a little more drama later, but there was a lot of stuff going around. And the main, I feel like it's rare for a main broadcast in TFT to have like anything going around it, and like in terms of drama or anything like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was a little crazy.
And well, the other place that really popped up, and we can talk about this drama too, was Soju's chat. Which that also kind of stemmed from drama between me and Soju relating to, I put him number 12 on my pre-Zaun Cup power rankings. He kind of took offense to that and blocked me on Twitter, which is the actual TFT drama of the past.
That's how you know we're becoming a bigger esport, is that there's actually drama.
Yeah, I know, right? That's also how you know I'm like making a name for myself, is I get blocked by someone who pulls 20, 30K on Twitch. Like, what the fuck? I don't even have 1,000 followers on Twitter. And I'm casting my first major event, and this is the first thing that happens? Wow. Okay. Welcome to casting.
Any PR is good PR.
Yeah. But he spent a lot of like streams over the next few days leading up to Zaun Cup kind of molding. Like, I mean, it wasn't that literally all he talked about, but it sprinkled its way in more or less every day. And I think
It became a
it
meme.
kind
The
it
12th thing became a
it kind
meme.
of became a lot of people started talking about that tier list. Holy shit, more people than I fucking
Yeah.
expected.
Yeah, that's
I didn't
crazy.
even expect Soju being 12 to be the hot take, for what it's worth. Like
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of. I think there were a lot of hot takes on that, and
yeah,
like that was not the one that like stood out at all.
I I I
Admittedly,
thought the hottest take would be leaving socks off.
yeah, for the pair. I remember the baby
Baby
debuff.
debuff, yeah,
You
exactly.
yeah
Like,
yeah.
I mean, but I popped in Socks' stream, and he was like, "Yeah, that is I agree." I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's not a hot take. Cool." When the literal person I'm giving a hot take about agrees with the hot take, not a hot take. Um. Anyway, yeah. So I kind of pissed off Soju. He blocked me on Twitter. He was modding to his stream, and his chat, of course, like, I mean, it's a hive mind. They pick up on anything he says. So they kind of started turning against me. And when a hive mind turns against a trans person, you know there's going to be fucking transphobia involved. And I saw some of the day two chat whenever I would pop up on screen. It was bad. And that was it.
Ugh.
By the way, it was bad in the VOD. That is without the stuff that got removed and deleted. On day two, from what I saw and what I heard, the mods had to turn it to emote only at one point because it got that bad and that out of control.
That's insane. Yeah,
So
I don't. There are a lot of. Ugh.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was, and for what it's worth, like I saw that whole situation and was like, I need to talk to Soju. Like, I DM'd him on Twitter yesterday, actually, basically, well, A, asking if we're good, B, being, can you like crack down on your chat? And I I recognize you're trying with my pronouns. I always ask people try a little harder, but I recognize they're trying. There is also a clip on the TFT Clips YouTube channel titled K3 Soju Struggles to Understand Pronouns, and it's so funny. I believe he said the words, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm just a dumbass. Like, he's a dumbass, but he's our dumbass. So like, and I
Yeah, Soldier's
I
awesome.
commented
Soldier's
on that.
awesome.
I commented on the YouTube video like, this is coming from the person he's trying to use the correct pronouns for. Don't give him shit. He's trying. I've seen this so many times. Like, it's his introduction to the whole concept of non-binary and singular they them pronouns. Don't give him shit. He's struggling, but he's trying. He did respond.
You are cool now, right?
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
respond. We're cool. He's gonna crack down on his chat, and apparently, according to Sarah, he needs to he needs to crack down on his mods too, because uh, Sarah told him that she was the only one doing anything at one point. So, but
Interesting.
this is all going to show like we have someone who like the streamer, which is who matters, end of the day, is being supportive, and that's all I can
Hmm.
ask for. And
For
yeah,
sure.
so like I say this in the nicest way possible. Soju is a walking bag of content and drama.
I mean, he is the TFT the
He
TFT
literally is
influencer.
the TFT influencer, yes. So I mean, are we going to have content drama later down the line again? Probably, but we're good. Like, it's not personal. Like, I think we both like get each other. So
Yeah,
there
that's
was
good.
drama, but the drama has been resolved. Nice.
And that's the transphobia saga
That's the
of Zaun
transphobia.
Cup. There are many sagas of Zaun Cup, and imagine that being only one of them. Because that's a whole fucked up situation that was. I mean, that was just an insane. Like that's event defining on its own,
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
Um,
Like,
yeah.
but again, like I'm just glad like it has kind of like banded people together of like that shit is not okay, which is then a signal to other trans people that like come here, you belong, please, yes, come. And I've had like multiple people like DM me being like, hey, like you being on broadcast and like being out and super public is awesome, and it's actually super rewarding given that's kind of like one of my routes I'm trying to go as a teacher of being like super out and super queer and being being there for queer students and then being someone for them to look up to. I'm already aware, like I'm someone like other queer and non-binary people in the community look up to. So I just kind of need to. I'm just kind of embracing it. But that's the point. Like be a role
Yeah.
model for them and demonstrate this is a supportive community. You belong here.
Yeah, I think after this whole episode, as a community, we're on the right
Yes.
track.
Oh, full agree.
You know, like big figures again, like Soju. We're all gonna.
Soju is going
you know?
to. I'm not gonna say too much, leak too much about that DM, but Soju is gonna say something.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
this isn't just something that like we talked about privately. He told me he's saying something. Just it's just a matter of when. So.
Oh yeah.
Fuck transphobia.
That's a good sum up for that whole saga. Fuck transphobia.
Yeah, seriously.
Sheesh. So beyond that, so that was one big side of Zaun Cup, right? We can talk about the TFT side of things now.
Wow,
as well.
there's also a whole ass TFT side, dear
right?
God.
There's a yeah. What we can do is we can talk about the TFT thing. So going into this, we can talk a little bit about the patch. I know we're going to talk a lot about because you have a lot to talk about today. But going into the patch, or into the tournament, the patch was very sin heavy. Don't worry. Yeah, I see someone talking about the VOD.
Yeah, Mateo's recording on his own. Yeah. Also, we don't do this often. Shout out to fucking Mateo. Like,
yeah, he's our producer. Yeah. He's a fucking god.
Seriously,
he makes everything run smoothly. He sets up all the graphics. Everything.
Like if me, Appies, or Ramkev are gone, and for what it's, I mean, I say this in the nicest way possible. Who cares?
If Mateo's gone,
like Ramkev's gone today. We're still running a fucking episode. I've been gone like 3 times for concerts. I'm gonna be gone another 3 times, like 2-3 times this semester for concerts. It's fine. Mateo's gone. Whew, the ship sinks.
Everything falls apart.
The ship fucking.
Everything would fall apart. It'd be so bad.
It would be garbage. Shout out to fucking Mateo. Anyway.
Yeah, he does so much for my stream and for the podcast and everything. So big kiss on me, Mateo. The patch going in to Zaun Cup, sins fucking everywhere. Shaco on your left, Talon on your right, some random idiot rerolling Katarina in front of you, and then there's like a fucking Twitch reroller behind you just waiting for you to turn around and think one cost can't get rerolled. So essentially, going into this tournament, everyone and their mom was playing Sins. If you played Jin, you were having a bad fucking day. There's a B patch after the tournament, but basically a lot of stuff got nerfed, like the AP got nerfed going in, but AD was really strong. They didn't nerf any of the AD side of things. They nerfed like 3-star AD or something, like 3-star Jin, 3-star Yone, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but they didn't really nerf anything meaningfully for AD. They nerfed Chalice, they nerfed Seraphine, they nerfed Ori, I think, a little bit. They nerfed Victor, or they kind of nerfed in buff Victor. They buffed Victor 1. I don't know, was that before? No, I think they buffed Victor 1 and nerfed Victor 2. I'm not positive, but essentially, if you weren't playing Sins, you were getting Sin.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? You were the Sinner or you were the Sinny, essentially. And so I think the first day in particular, I guess I don't know much about day 1. So the first day I played was day 2, and that day was just Sin dominated. There was a Shaco 2 player in top 2 every single game. Like Sin and Yone. Like it was either Yone or Sin. Yone or Shaco, and I think going into day 3, at least in my lobby, that story changed a bit, but yeah, day 2 was a little rough. And then day 1, do you remember, was it mostly like Sin AD stuff as well? It was, right? And there were a lot more rounds, obviously, and a lot more matches, but I think at least from watching Kevin's perspective, it was a lot of AD.
Let me pull up some.
Are the stats out there?
They're not out there, but I have them. I'm gonna find them. I'm not gonna leak too many details, but I can just some general day 1 was pretty heavy AD as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
The whole like Imperials didn't really start taking over until day 2. I think it took people a hot second to figure out how busted Imperials were. There were some people playing it on day 1,
like Swain
like
stuff as well.
Swain as well as an option. Yeah, like the Swain tech got figured out like the morning of day 1.
Wasn't Pickle Onion who?
Yes.
He got to day 3 and did really well. Wasn't he Swain
Yes.
20 out of 20? That's insane.
Hey, you know what?
There were a lot of Yone one tricks, Swain one tricks, and Talon / Shaco one tricks.
Yeah,
you know,
I respect that. I respect going in and deciding my EV is to one trick and state I'm a one trick. And low-key, I think for that kind of tournament lobby, it actually is correct. Because when you have a set lobby you're playing the next 5 games with, doing research becomes a lot more valuable. So a lot more people will at least do a quick lol chest check of everyone, see what they're generally playing at, like pretty much bare minimum. But then if you go in and you're saying I'm going to 2020, you make it obvious in your lol chest, other people are going to see that and either contest you and be an idiot, or say, nah, you have this, I'm going to do my own thing. So just establishing that you're 2020, you run the risk. It's a Chad move. You also do...
you get marketing pivot,
yeah, for
though.
Sure. But if you decide coming in that's your EV, you run the risk of not hitting, like forcing any comp. But you can more or less guarantee you're not getting contested. Especially if you come in and you know the others don't really play this comp, you can just say I'm hard slamming this comp 15 or 16 games this tourney rather, and not get contested, and just leave it up to how well you play around the comp and how well you hit.
I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I copy Keen, who won their day 3 lobby, was in my day 2 lobby. I'm pretty sure they were challengers 20 out of 20. I might be wrong.
I think it was Yone 2020 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I remember them open forwarding into Yone a lot, or just like being really HP hitting Yone and then doing well in my day 2 lobbies.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
And then there's definitely a lot of Sin open forwarders. Yeah. I felt really lucky in my final lobby because no one really played. There were definitely there was a Sin player every round, but there was no one just like saying fuck it, open forward into Shaco 2 every round, every game.
I don't think open forward Shaco was ever that good. I think Shaco is the Sin comp you kind of play from ahead, and the others are because you don't need Shaco 3. It's not inherently a reroll. It's you have Shaco carry and you can 3-star it as your win con, as a win con. The 2 costs are reroll comps you need 3-star to even top 4 usually. Sometimes.
Yeah.
So this is also coming from like personal experimentation. I felt like all the low cost assassins you could pretty easily open forward into. Shaco not so much. Like Shaco, you just play from.
Yeah, I think Talon looks very.
I'm still open forwarding Talon and Cat, by the way, even after B patch.
Is he still good?
Oh, he's still good.
That's kind of off topic. But I'm curious. Yeah, I haven't seen much of.
He's not a fucking monster, but like good, I guess. He's still Talon. He's still a good unit. Yeah.
Good to know. So yeah, the meta was interesting, and the thing is, even though the meta was Sin dominated, there was still a lot of comps doing well, right? It was very Sin AD. Urgot was doing well in a lot of situations. I played some Urgot myself day 3. I played mostly AP day 2, but like there was some AP comps going well as well. I think Vertical Arcanist, at least in the patch, I think Vertical Arcanist had a lot of success. Like were very strong, but I wasn't played much in tournament. I'm not sure how many people played a game of Vertical Arcanist.
I'm not.
Between day 2 and day 3. I did one, but I'm not sure if I was.
Actually, I don't have the day 3 numbers.
I'm sure
I have the day 1 and day 2 numbers. I'm not leaking them.
I'm sure that was around there somewhere.
Privileges of being a caster and getting info.
Yeah, I think so. Interestingly enough, there was another tournament going on in EU. Right across the pond, and across the pond.
I didn't follow that tourney at all. I'm so sorry.
Made a really rude joke about
no, don't get us
EU looking like mutants.
Don't get us fucking canceled. Oh my god.
Yeah, they like mutant a lot. They love mutant that weekend. Cho was everywhere in EU, so I think a lot of people had Cho in their back pocket going into this tournament as well. It wasn't seen a lot on NA ladder or like in the tournament. I think
I think I
much.
saw it more on during the PB in-houses than during the actual tournament. And that is also kind of saying something because it was played a decent chunk in Zaun, but I just saw so much of it on PB.
Oh, was it
It was
actually?
played. It wasn't played like it wasn't super common, but like there were a decent number of Cho games in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was good. I played it. Yeah, I played it at 3. It was it was fucking
it
broken on
it
that
deserved a B
patch.
patch nerf straight up. Like yeah,
Yeah, Cho was just he felt unkillable. I played like Adrenaline Rush Cho with tank items, and he was just topping my DPS every round and never dying. And I had
yep.
yeah, it was a very high roll game, but uh, it was impressive. It was impressive how well he did. And you know, spoiler alert, there was a B patch in the nerf Talon Cho. We just mentioned a little bit, but during the tournament, those things were all very very prominent and very very in your face as a player. I'm sure as a caster as well, because you're obviously watching all the games. But yeah, the meta was, I think it looked very degenerate at first, and then it ended up smoothing out a bit as the days went
Looked
on.
like there was a fair amount of reroll, but it wasn't like a reroll meta, which I think is
Yeah.
about where you want to be. Which it's also good that they finally got reroll like in a good spot that you can play it. Um,
Hmm.
I've always been of the opinion that reroll should never be meta, but it should always be a viable option, and you should have a few reroll comps to choose from. There were more than a few reroll comps to choose from, but you had options. But it wasn't if you weren't playing reroll, you were absolutely fucked and could not top 4.
Yeah, that was thank God. I knew it was interesting as well. I feel like so I watched like 7 different perspectives day one, right? I was just big investigating what was going on.
Hippo G.
And I don't know if it was just people, yeah, I don't know if it was just people I was watching or what, but I saw a lot of 4 Arcanist, 4 Challenger Yone on day
Huh?
one. Like yeah, it was weird. There for not for Arcanist,
Okay.
4 Academy. I'm
Okay.
sorry,
I
definitely
was
not
like,
4
hold the
Arcanist
fuck
Yone.
up.
4 Academy Yone seemed super
Huh.
popular on day one. At least in the lobbies I was watching. I was watching Kevin, Iniko, Beppo. I was watching Void Sins, a lot of other people. P God, Raditz, and there's definitely one more person I was watching, but yeah, there was just a ton of 4 Academy in those lobbies, which I thought it was going to be a theme throughout the weekend, but I didn't see much more 4 Academy the
Yeah.
rest of the weekend.
I don't know. Well, which also, now that you bring up Ramkev and day one, we can get into this.
Yeah, we can talk about
Let's
day one a
talk about.
bit.
This is. I wouldn't call this drama. I'd call this more spicy than anything.
I call
Or
it fucked up.
okay.
It's just fucked
So
up.
for those
No,
not in the
it
know,
is.
Kevin or Ramkev, I need to get this exactly right. These numbers. Kevin had to play through day one of Zaun Cup, and the format was 3 games, same lobbies, top 4 from each lobby, gets put into a pool, it gets seeded into new lobbies. Points reset, play another 3 games, top 4 points, move on to day 2. And Kevin went 2-1-3. Hold on. 2-1-3-4-4-5.
Yeah,
But and did not make
and he
A2.
didn't make it.
Gangly has a spreadsheet of or like compiled a spreadsheet of the average placements in Zaun Cup. Ramkev had the second highest average placement in the whole tournament.
And for anyone wondering how the fuck he didn't get through to day 2 with that score line. So what happened, right? What happened, what was the day 1 format? It was the same as Puerto
Yeah.
Cup, and that they're your first 3 after the first 3 games, you played 3 games per lobby. And you play in 2 different lobbies on day 1. The first 3, the top 4 scorers in that lobby move on to the second half of day 1, and then points reset. And then again, top 4 scorers from that part of day 1 move on to day 2. And so since Kevin went 1-2, was it 1-2-3?
Yeah.
2-1-3 on the first half, he got through, and then he went 4-4-5. So even though his average for the first half of the games where it was so good, the second half he was slightly under the like 4th place average. He went 4-4-5, and he didn't make it after he I was watching the stream the entire time. He played so well. God, he's so impressive to watch, and it was like
Yeah.
heartbreaking I mean, heartbreaking as a watcher and as a friend, so I can't imagine, you know, how tough it was for him.
Yeah.
So
And like also
it leaves a lot to be desired format
everyone
wise,
go send love to Ramkev in some form. He deserves it. Like for sure.
for sure.
He
Yeah, he's down bad a little bit right
he's
now.
not on the
So
podcast for a reason. I'm obviously like take care of your mental health. Like it's this is
for
also
sure.
just a blanket message. Like y'all, please take care of your mental health. Take breaks when you need to, if you can afford to. Um, but support your friends. Go support Ramkev. He deserves a lot of love because he is a excellent TFT player who got
He puts so
yeah,
much work into
and he
it as
put a
well.
lot
Like, he's one of the hardest working
yes,
players on the
and he just
server
got
for sure.
absolutely dicked because he
Yeah,
lost a three-way tiebreaker at 16 points, which some some lobbies lobby G third place was 15. So it's the circumstances of how his lobby worked out. A lot of them cut off was 16, but yeah, it was. And I think the problem everyone
it
has with
was.
the format is the 3 game sample size, which low key,
Yes,
no, I mean just me, I think I mean if you'd have to probably do a whole format overhaul if you want to avoid um 3 game series, but at the very least, don't reset point. Like they shouldn't have reset points going into the second series. Seriously. Like points should have carried over. You take day one, even if
yep.
you do that, even if you're out on like getting out on the first series of 3 games. Okay, that fucking sucks. But um, like that does suck on its own. But what further increased the level of suck is that there was another set of just 3 game variants. Um, and the issue everyone has is that it's 3 games that the variance in this game is enough that a 3 game sample size is so it's ridiculously small. It's not acceptable to make multiple cuts off of 3 games. You make the first cut, I mean, we're gonna complain. The it's fucking words. I'm I'm upset for Kevin too about this. I think a lot of us are upset. Frodan especially has been super
Yeah.
vocal on Twitter. Like this is garbage. He has not been
Yes.
sugarcoating at all. Um, but if just one 3 game cut in sample size, sure. You do a second, that's unacceptable. Like if you can turn that into a 3 and then a 6 game sample size, like that mitigates some of it, and I don't think we'd be as upset. But as is,
Yeah.
three game sample
So
size is just way too small. I think Bryce said somewhere that like day four at that 4 game is the bare minimum. I'm of the opinion like even that's kind of mad. Like you need 5 at least.
yep. Well, yeah, I think there's people in chat that are confused right now. So we're not saying day one score should go into day two. We're
Yes.
saying day one part one score should go into day one part two scores. But you're
Yeah,
two very
exactly.
different
I'm
things.
okay. I'm okay with them
Yeah.
resetting between
Yeah.
days once you get
Yeah. Day two
yeah.
is yeah. You
Once
should
you
reset into day
get,
two
especially
and day
it's
three.
because it's a different day, and because at that point you've reached a big enough game sample size that, like, obviously there's still fucking variance, but it is an acceptable game sample size for what your goals are. And that point, you can just cut it off and then
Yeah.
reset going into the next day. Like that
So
makes sense.
I know I know there have been so one of the biggest counterpoints to wanting that, right? Not the 3 game cut, is that if someone feels that they aren't gonna make it, particularly in that big open round, they'll just fucking dip, right? They'll say, okay, I went 8-8, I'm just out. I don't want to play anymore, right? And that brings up a ton of problems. Well, like if you have 3 games, someone goes 8-8, they might just play the last one because like, okay, I have to play one more game, it's whatever. But having to play 4 more games can definitely be mentally taxing after having a bad start to a tournament, right? And that's the biggest worry. I know Ori was talking. Ori is one of the tournament organizers and a good friend of Kevin and of the podcast and just us in general. So it's tough to say what the exact right solution is. Obviously, as no matter what we do, there is going to be a problem. But I think it makes more sense to want the problem being like someone leaving the tournament and the problem being someone who has a scoreline to get through to the next day. Not, I think I'd rather work around the problem of what do we do when someone leaves the tournament, which I mean I can say that as a player, but it doesn't mean the tournament organizer feels the same, obviously. Then what if a player that deserves to get through doesn't get through? but they have the scores. Not as like a good player played badly, but they have the scores. They played well to get through, and they didn't get through. Which as a player, and as a player, I think as a community, that's like the problem that we want to have over the that's the problem we don't want to have over the what if someone leaves problem. But then tournament organizers, especially Giant Slayer, does so much for the community, and it's like putting the burden has to be somewhere, and it's hard to say like the burden should be on them, right? Because it's just it's hard to find a solution. It's super hard. And
even Nature's in chat, like
sure,
what I just talked about like carryover points, he's arguing that just straight up doesn't work, and I'm thinking, honestly, yeah, it probably doesn't work. But that's the thing. The point isn't like this is the band-aid they should have done. The point is this is we're even talking about a band-aid because just the root of the issue is the small sample size of a 3-game series. And for what it's worth, like this is the last tournament of the set that uses that format. Every other tournament from here is at least a 5-game series. Most, I believe, mid-set is it's 6-game series. So it's getting into acceptable sample sizes and acceptable series lengths. And I'm sure for next set, Giant Slayer already has said like they know about the issue. They're figuring out solutions. Yeah, they will. They'll figure it out. I have full faith in Giant Slayer that they will figure it out.
Yes, I think the big takeaway is that there are two big takeaways from day one, and one is that we need a change format wise. For sure, we need a change, and the second one is that it is not Giant. Like don't
Please,
mob
dear God.
over. Don't riot at Giant Slayer. It is not their fault.
I feel like we have to. They really do. We have to say this
really
every time an issue comes up. Don't fucking shit on Giant Slayer. No.
There's no
absolutely not.
I think a lot of people will say like, oh, we'll just have the points carry over, but then they don't think about the 10 problems that arise if you have the points.
Literally me just now having said that, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, there are issues from that because there are.
Yeah. So it's like we I think as a community need to find a solution and support Giant Slayer to help find that solution. And it's not right to just put all the burden on them, but it's also it has to be said that the format was bad and that the format wasn't correct, and we need to figure out how to make it so that players like Kevin who played super well and had a great score line don't get punished for the format. Second highest placement or average placement over the entire tournament and didn't get through day one. So yeah, exactly, Nature. Yeah, there's no 100% solution. You can't just say do this, do that. I mean, a lot of people will ignorantly just say, just make the points carry over. Not that you're ignorant for saying that, Charlie. Because I think that was my first reaction as well. But you got me. The thing is,
I'm also not a tournament organizer. This isn't my literal job.
Yeah, exactly. Me either.
My job is to show up. My job is to just show up and say words on a camera and go home. That's it. My job is
You show up, say words. I show up, play video games.
End of the day, it is their job. They do a good job of it. They'll figure it out. We generally have faith. We generally have faith in them
out something
because they've demonstrated we should have faith in them because every time a problem comes up, they have some kind of solution. Is the solution always perfect? Not necessarily, or like some of the changes they've made. I think like the example that comes to mind is like kind of fixing the super heavy emphasis on snapshots in set 5. Honestly, I think they swung a little bit too hard in the opposite direction of ladder doesn't matter enough for qualifying for regionals. Like maybe
I think it's cool.
It's definitely good you still qualify through tournaments through ladder stuff, but the direct snapshots to regionals, maybe I'd like a couple more spots. But at that point, it's almost like that's my personal opinion, and it's nitpicking. And again, not my job. So it is them going to a lot fewer snapshot spots is a step in the right direction. They take those steps in the right direction super fucking consistently, and that's the point.
Yep. Yeah. So the format was bad.
Day 1 format. After that, it was fine. A lot of people have made the argument like you should just rotate lobbies, and I will make the argument. I don't think you should do this for every tournament, but I would actually argue the set lobby format is actually a good format to utilize. As a not necessarily like, oh, we need to change the pace, let's do this lobby format, but it does promote a different kind of skill set of being able to prepare for 7 specific players for a day. You you go into day 2,
Yep.
day 3, you know exactly who you're playing against. You can formulate a game plan for that lobby. I think that's part of why Appies did so well in Challenger Series finals, because that the one day he was able to like fully prepare for that lobby, just had a fucking rock solid game plan going in, and it showed. And I think that kind of skill of being able to study your lobby and formulate a rock solid game plan for it, that is a skill that should have its merits, and it doesn't necessarily get to be displayed in a format where the lobbies rotate constantly. Like days 1 and 2 of mid set, it's going to be a crapshoot of what your lobby is. If it is rotating, is it rotating? It's probably. I think it's rotating from what I saw.
I I'm not sure. But yeah, I think preparation being rewarded
Yes.
is really good. Like, and
Yeah,
I think
rotate. Yeah.
it's a skill that like anyone can prep, and if they
Yeah.
prep, they should be rewarded.
You get
So,
yeah. Well, nature said you get 3
yep.
lobbies per day in mid set. That's its own kind of skill set. You're the skill set of being able to quickly adapt to a lobby, and not necessarily be like, this is exactly how I'm going to come in to this full day, um, and be able to really quickly make changes on the fly, and then get into a new lobby and adapt to that lobby. That's a whole different skill set. I don't think either should be particularly encouraged over the other. I think they both have merits, and I think that having like a set lobby for every single day that you can prepare for, and not just that, but be able to adapt to that lobby over the course of a 5-game series, that's also a valuable skill that I think should be tested in some tournaments. And
Yep.
I think anyone that's saying like get rid of the whole set lobby format, I think they're wrong. Anyone who's saying day 2, day 3 are fine, day 1 was trash, yeah, we can get behind that.
Yep.
I am now willing
that's where we leave it
to
off,
say
right?
that format sucked straight up. I'm like, and not sugarcoat it. Yeah.
Day 1, yes. Day 1 was a bad format. I think day 2 and 3 are a good format. And again, we'll leave it off with it's tough because it's an open bracket and people will just drop out.
I feel like that's just a thing with any
so,
kind of like open type tournament anyway. You're gonna have names that go out early.
Exactly.
Like hell Goose got bombed out on day 1. Yeah.
Goose, Ramcab, Prestivan,
yeah. A decent amount of big names that had to play day 1 didn't make it through day 1. So.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin's in the chat. Yeah, yeah, exactly. 3 games should not decide advancement. Not. Exactly. 3 games alone should not decide advancement, and that's all it comes down to at the end of the day for the day 1 format. So we can move on to what we're gonna talk about next. I think we can talk about breakout performances and who did really well unexpectedly, who did really well kind of expectedly, and what was surprising over the course of the tournament for you, Jirachy?
Watching it, I think some of the breakouts actually surprised me a little more than anything. I think Lobby D and fucking Goobums won the tourney. Most overall points, didn't just win his lobby, had the most overall points in tourney in 4 games. He could have literally AFK'd game 5, gone and take a fat fucking dump, not shown up all game, and still had the most points in the tourney. Like, Jesus Christ, what a way to fucking just stamp yourself in. I'm going to shit on this tourney, and he played out of his mind. Like seriously, from what I was watching, the bits I caught, I wasn't thinking like this is just turbo high roll. Like Goobums doesn't deserve this. He played out of his mind, like genuinely. Yeah, I'm gonna go through every VOD. I don't know if I'm gonna go through all the VOD on stream.
I'll be lurking.
All of them on stream because it's a lot, and I'm gonna need to do them like throughout the day, and I can't stream literally all of it. But I'm gonna get to Goobums on stream, and I might do both of his days because I need to see what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be lurking in your chat.
You do always lurk. Yeah,
I
exactly.
I feel like when I watch VODs and when I like watch someone analyze VODs, I just don't like to be part of the conversation. I don't really know
You're literally
why.
just studying.
Just, like,
No, it makes sense.
listening.
Honestly, typing in Twitch chat breaks your focus. I'm not joking. This is coming from
For sure.
I love Kurum. I love hanging in this chat. I have barely I don't think I've absorbed an ounce of Kurum gameplay because I'm just digging around in this chat nonstop. It's so hard to focus
in Kurum's chat. I feel like we talked about this before. He has the hardest chat in the game to focus with because like the chat's just there's nothing about TFT and Kurum's just trying not to laugh while like
Kurum's chat is like, so degen and it's amazing and they're all just
awesome.
Just fuckers.
It's so good.
They're TFT. It's not TFT's cesspool. It's TFT's like ball pit. It's a ball pit. It's a ball pit full of children who are also horny for some reason.
A ball pit full of horny children. You heard it here first. That is Kurum's chat. Kurum watches this. Actually, Kurum, just don't watch this.
Oh god.
But yeah,
I actually can't. Oh my god. That's not what I necessarily meant it to come out as, but that's what it did. Oh yeah.
I think besides like Goobums popping off, I'm really glad that Casper did super well, right? Casper's in the same lobby as Goobums. He had a poor performance at Challenger Series.
From chat, Chuck E. Cheese ball pit for adults. There we go. That's accurate. Sorry, go Casper. Yes.
You're good. Yeah, Casper popped off. He looked like, I haven't watched his games yet, but he did really well. It was really good to see. I mean, I love Casper, and I think he's a great player. So I think, yeah, Challenger Series, he looked a little shaken, but came back like amazingly. It looked. I mean, I haven't watched his VODs yet, but just off of scores, I assume he's looking in form again. So
it's going to like a lot of the there was a lot of I feel like there was a lot of breakouts or like there's names that are like kind of bubbling under the surface that are looking to establish themselves that are starting to establish themselves with good tournament performances. There's also some Asa as well, yeah. Also some of the Set 4 names who started establishing themselves in Set 4 have had their tourney success or just looking to establish themselves further. A lot of them did really well. Like I mentioned Goobums. Spencer got third in his lobby. Noster didn't have a great day 3, but he had a really fucking good day 2. He got there, yeah. He got second in his lobby in day 2, and that was a pretty decent. It wasn't a bad lobby. So, who else? My boy Kivix.
I'm trying to think of who.
Fucking Kivix.
Yeah.
After watching Kivix gameplay, I love that man so much. He played Talon reroll with a Trist 3 and a Poppy 3 with 3 lockets. This is my favorite game of the fucking tournament. Not even close. He got third.
What'd he get?
You take it.
We take that. I mean, if you say Talon reroll and a Trist 3 and a Poppy 3 with 3 lockets.
Oh, you fucking take that all day. Yeah, exactly.
We take that.
So,
and they take those.
But yeah, a lot of names that are like established. Also, DQA doing well. My legitimate DQA has. Well. I know he's disagreed with it on stream, but I think DQA in tournament anyway is he's fine. He can sit. If you look at his tournament results are kind of whatever. Except for there's a few in there where he just pops the fuck off. Like getting third at Set 4 regionals, getting second in the Alicoin tourney, and now getting fourth at Zaun. He did not place well at Piltover, by the way. Like he got, what the fuck did he get? I'm gonna look this up. He got 8. What the hell? He didn't make it out day 1 basically. 1, 2, 3, 4. He got 8th in his second day 1 lobby. not great. Not great. Not great.
Sheesh.
But this is going to show this is the point is that DQA had a pop off performance. So like a good performance from it, like good shit. That is a I'm gonna look to establish myself again, or like kind of reestablish myself after making a name for myself in set 4. Bert also having a monster of a day 2. Yeah, pretty
Bert
much.
is so good whenever he wants to be.
I feel like he
good
falls
whenever he wants to
into this class of players who are just not naturally, I'd say instinctively good at the game. I think if
Mhm.
like Bert can have no prep and be at 90%
Like,
power level. And Pocky
like
too.
Pocky
Yeah,
almost,
Pocky has
right?
had basically no practice
Yeah.
because he was kind of taking a break from the game because he doesn't enjoy the set, and he had just IRL stuff going on, and then he comes in and is just like, I'm at he was at 90% of his power. I think that's accurate. I think if he wasn't on break and was practicing, he probably could have won his lobby straight up. He got 5th in the lobby because I think he genuinely was at only 90%, but he was at 90% on no practice. That's ridiculously impressive, and I think that takes a certain kind of player
Yep.
to be like that. So and I did Pocky's VOD review yesterday actually, and like he was there, and we were saying like you can see the rust, you can see the I have not practiced. I think for those players, they also don't necessarily need to practice specific shit. They just need to play the game and get a feel for the state of the game at that moment, and then that's the last 10%. If
Yep.
Pocky had just played the game, he gets the last 10% of his power, and he's a fucking monster. Same thing with Bert. And that's
Yeah.
it's insane. Yeah,
But it's so impressive that
yeah.
he can just show up.
If I take a month off TFT, I come back, I'm basically gold level. It's so bad.
I take a day off TFT. I come back.
For us, we're like we rely on prep. It's so bad, but it's just a different kind of player. It plays into, I think there's so many different ways to play this game and to be really fucking good at this game. So yeah.
Yep. It's so cool. I think what was really cool about my lobby in that tournament, I want to talk about Solus as well, because I think this tournament was really big for him. Is that like there were so many clashing play styles in my third day lobby, right? Like you have the Soju Q and Solus, and then like myself, Broccoli. It was just like there were so many like drastically different ways to play the game in one lobby. Yeah. It was so fucking cool. I do want to talk about Solus. So Solus was someone who people have been rating super high. Like, yeah, you have a lot of hopes for you. Yourself, Gangly,
I think
myself.
The best way to put it is Solus is one of the most polarizing players in the server right now. You either think he's top 5 or you think he's hot garbage.
I think his play style is such that it clashes so drastically with other people's that it's very easy to disagree with a lot he does, and very easy to think it's like the biggest brain thing you've ever seen in your life, you know? But yeah, he did really well. He did fucking amazingly, and I think it kind of cemented that this is like his one of it, like his set. He's doing super well at every tournament essentially, and yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting. And just the PR just came out as well. I think he's like 5 or 6 on that, the second PR.
Yeah, and when you look at the individual power rankings, Gangly put him first. Like Frodan put him number 7. Goobums put him, I believe, 15. Which
Goombas does not appreciate Solus' play style.
Fair, but it's going to show you like people are so fucking polarized on this guy, and that's kind of cool.
For sure.
Actually, like it's so cool that there's so many varying opinions on someone.
Yeah. You know who I really want to talk about as well is Broccoli, because he
fucking sleep on him.
Gangly thinks as well.
Seriously.
He is the single most slept on player in TFT. He's so fucking good, man. God, I've been in his lobbies like every single tournament this set, and he is just so good every single time. It's so I'm like, oh fuck, I have Broccoli again.
Honestly,
no.
from talking to Gangly about like Broccoli's stats, because I haven't watched his VODs yet, which I need to. Holy shit. but he seems like just a he's
Me
such
too.
a
Me too.
consistent. He's going to hit top 4. If he's in your game, he's getting top 4. Basically, like you load into game with Broccoli, a
Yeah.
top 4 spot's gone, and is one of the in its own way one of the scariest players to play against. You just yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
He's so consistent.
Honestly,
He's just insane. What is the stat? Gangly has a stat for me. I think he is like, is he the or like second most like? There was some crazy stat about how he top 4s every game. Essentially,
let me
it was
go
some crazy stat about how he top 4s every
Gangly's
game.
Twitter. Why can I not find this?
Because
Yeah,
Gangly
I
is the
know
biggest
it.
broccoli.
Okay, I can't find this off the
Which
top of my
I
head.
get. Broccoli
Ugh.
is so good.
Or like just right away. So, but the point being, like, yeah, he's super consistent. Is all.
And it's surprising that he always falls.
I think
under
it's
the radar,
because he's not flashy.
Like.
He's not like going. He's not going like 1-1-1 because that's not his play style. He's going to fly under radar and he's going to get underrated quite a bit.
Yep. I don't know. I have high hopes for him. I mean, he's really good at the game. Like, having experienced him firsthand in my lobby over and over and over again, he is so good at the game, and he deserves to be recognized for.
I think it's also because
his
like it's because he doesn't stream.
So.
Also, has he hit rank 1 yet? I don't think he has.
I don't know, actually. Wow. Never mind. He sucks.
Which is also the point. Like this, I swear to God, the server values rank 1 way too fucking much. Oh, someone hasn't hit rank 1, they're garbage. Like you don't get attention unless you hit rank 1. I see Ramkev for years, or I guess sets. Like he went to Worlds having never hit rank 1 and was getting egoed on. I know.
I don't know, man. Ladder is something else. It's fun. It's fun though. I mean, that's most of your TFT experience, right? Or most of everyone's TFT experience is just playing on ladder. So
it's not most of my TFT experience now. Most of my TFT experience now is watching TFT.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I lately have not been like before tournaments. I like the 2 or 3 days beforehand. I don't play any TFT. I just watch TFT.
Yeah.
And it feels so much better. I'll go into my first game in tournament. Although my first game is always kind of shitty, so maybe this is something to think about. I'll go in my first game having not played the
maybe
game
you
for
should
like 2 or 3
sprinkle some
days,
games in,
generally.
but like the general idea of watching and studying the game, I think is so valuable, and I don't think enough people do it. And I think what you find is a good number of players who are at the top of NA, not just like in the top 15, like the top 5-ish, like will do a lot of VOD review or like just watching streams. At Ramblin'. The point this is going is I want to bring up Ramblin'. Exactly.
Yeah, he's so good at it.
I swear to God, he's in every chat I go to. It's nuts.
Yes. Yeah. he's Peppo G as fuck. I love Ramblin', man. He's just like a student of the game, and it's amazing to see. And he does so much with that information as well. He's just so consistent all over and over again. I think this tournament he had a little bit of a rough time because
tournament
variants and stuff.
I think tournament variants, IRL stuff, and I think he said he just didn't feel prepped because he had 2 days on the patch, which also goes to show Ramblin's one of those players who kind of needs prep. He can't just come in and play the game on instinct. Yeah,
he'll bounce back though. The thing about Ramblin' is that you can always trust that he will like. Particularly if he does badly, like he will come back with a vengeance. He will do all his research. He will just be the best player on the server. just for no reason. He is the best player on the server.
How much confidence I have in Ramblin'.
So
I still put him top 2. I think in my power rankings. Maybe still first.
Oh, for sure.
After a rough tourney performance, because I know why it was a rough tourney performance, and I know for a fucking fact. Put Ramblin' in form, put him Peppo-Ging the fuck out of the game, and he will smurf. Like, absolutely fucking smurf.
Yep. Yeah, I think just because someone doesn't do well in one term doesn't mean they're bad at the game or anything, right? Like Kevin would also be in my top 5 or 6 right now. I think he's just... if you watched his games, like, he played so well. So, I don't know. I think, like, obviously tournament results matter, but they're not the end all be all, right? It's really like one tournament because like Kevin and Rambo both do
exactly.
really
And
well
it goes to
historically
show
in
like
every tournament.
what how much goes into the power rankings first of all, and also what people value. Because I feel like a lot of the current players who did power rankings for Don't Talk If You Don't Know are a lot of it is based on ladder. And I get why. I disagree for what it's worth. I disagree, but I get why they base it so much off ladder because they're spamming ladder games. They're playing against these people 24/7 on ranked ladder. That's most of their experience with them. So that's where they're going to like that's what is going to be in their mind when they do power rankings. And for someone like me where I don't even play against these guys anymore. I'm fucking Grandmaster. I'm stuck in GM jail because I don't play the game fucking enough because I don't need to because I'm not a player anymore. Hmm. um. So like most of what I do is just watch the game, and I watch tournaments, and that's how I base my rankings, and also do a lot of studying of like tournament history. That's where like I consider power rankings from, and it shows you like how many different angles you can approach power rankings from. And I'm even coming from I think you should base it off tournament results. Like I, it's still my opinion. End of the day, it's not objectively correct, and that's part of why I do like. I
Yeah.
look at the Don't Talk If You Don't Know power rankings, and I disagree with a decent chunk of it, but also recognizing this is a collective power ranking. It is it's considering a lot of different angles. Do I think it considers player angles and ladder angles a little too heavily? Yeah. I think there's a few too many players on the panel compared to like non-players
People who
basically.
watch more
Yeah.
VODs. Yeah, that's fair. I I think TFT is a game in that especially where it's a game with variance in it. It's tough to say like tournaments something that matter like tournament results something that matters. Particularly like when the most recent result is something that like outside of the norm, like with Ramblin or Ramkev. Um, it's tough because I think one of the only good ways to really get a read on a player is to watch them play. But I think a lot of people probably have not watched. Probably a lot of people on the panel even have not watched a lot of the people play
Yeah.
like particularly in tournament. I think like watching ladder
Which
play
I
is
think
definitely
is
a little bit different from watching
well,
tournament
personally
play.
like why I couldn't get a fucking read on Setsuko until Challenger Series. Because I don't play against him on ladder. All I
Yeah,
see is he's
right.
rank 1 and I'm like, that doesn't mean shit to me. I haven't watched I don't
Okay,
watch him
Dewey just has
play.
Mercs on 2-1
Like
every game.
seeing that he's rank 1, I don't give a shit. What's he like in Tourney? Oh, he has to stream Challenger Series. Let's watch him. Let's base some rankings off that, and not necessarily how he placed in Challenger Series, but just getting an idea of his play style and how he plays in Tourney and factoring that in.
Yep. Something we can talk about is tourney versus ladder play style.
I feel
And
pretty
is there a difference?
strongly
I know you
there's a
feel
fucking
pretty strongly
difference.
one way here.
And I think what it boils down to is ladder is how good you are on ladder is how good you are at beating people who are equal or worse skill level than you. In tournaments, it is how do you beat people who are equal or better skill level than you. And I think there is a difference. I really do. I think, or like equal to slightly better. Because like in tournament, even if you're rambling, you can go up against guys like Milk and Robin and this fuck I don't know which direction he is, but whichever fucker is on either side of me named SpicyAppies, you're gonna go against all these people who are about the same skill level and arguably slightly better in some ways. How do you beat them? What how like it's not I don't want to say it's easier. It's not necessarily easier to like beat players worse than you, but you can get away with a lot more, and maximizing what you can get away with is how you beat players worse than you. When when you're going up against players in tourney, I feel like it doesn't become it's no longer what can I get away with, because you can't get away with shit. You if you try and open Fort Yordles, you are 56 HP on Krugs. Every single fucking time. I've been I've been I've been open Fort
Shit. I should
Yordles
know
on
that.
ladder and been 70 HP. Like what the fuck? it's so you get
It's
so
definitely
much less
punishing.
punished
People,
for making plays like that, and sometimes because you don't get as punished, you it is correct to go for those kinds of plays so you can maximize your placement. If you don't go for those kinds of plays, you are capping out what placement you can get on ladder. And being able to like rapidly climb
yeah.
ladder is a skill set. Being able to efficiently destroy players who are worse than you is a skill set. But then you go up against players who are as good as you can't get away with that stuff anymore. How do you adapt? How do you prioritize your board strength? How do you adapt how you make items in order to sustain board strength? Um, you have to play differently against people in tourney, or if you try and do that kind of ladder play style, I think you just get wrecked. I think I noticed that especially in
Yeah.
Setsuko when I was watching Challenger Series. Setsuko was playing so econ heavy and making his board just weaker for no reason other than to make eco, like significantly weaker to make eco, and he was getting wrecked early game, like absolutely fucking butt blasted. And it took
Oh, God.
it took a degree of high roll actually to get him the third. Like legitimately, he played well to come back from those spots, but him being in those spots in the first place can get so risky because his spot just looks he's just you just get so unhealthy. You bleed out so much quicker because the boards are just stronger, and you have to adapt to that in tourney, and that's why I genuinely think like the play styles are different. Someone can be good at that ladder and that tourney play style, and they're good at adapting to the environment they're playing in. But there are some players who will get stuck in one mode or the other. Like, and I'll call myself out. I think I get a little too stuck in tourney play style, even on ladder. Like, and I cap myself out that way. I think Appies would say a little bit of the same about him sometimes himself.
Yeah, so I think there's like another side to ladder play, um, where I think not everyone plays differently like in tournament and on ladder. I think like for example, I think Kevin and I play very
Yeah,
similarly on ladder as we do in tournament. The thing is on ladder like we limit test and fuck around so
yeah,
much that it's like really hard to keep the habit right. Um, and then like I think like I'll definitely try out. So use myself as an example. I think people are willing to try out more stuff on ladder, right? People are limit testing in games, even like 1500 LP people will limit test shit. Or at least I will. Like
yeah.
I think Kevin and I are a good example
You
because we're
two
like the
limit
two
test so
probably
much
most
bullshit.
fun
Jesus
people on
Christ.
ladder. um, but
Also, Kevin.
yeah, Casper as well. Yeah, Casper playing a Lowy reroll and fucking yeah. So like, I think there's a lot of stuff like that running around ladder as well, and that makes so I personally don't like I think the game's really fun both in ladder and in tournament, but I definitely use tournament or I use ladder a lot more to limit test, which I mean you can definitely still climb like that, but there's definitely playstyle differences I think to like play well on. I think like a greedier playstyle does do better on ladder than like a slightly more aggressive play style for sure, regardless of whether you're limit testing or not. Like I don't think like I think I'll probably do worse on ladder no matter what than someone like probably like Soju, when he's in
Yeah.
peak form. Just
And for
great
what it's
until
worth, that's
4-2 and then
why I
going
put
down
Soju
to
at number 12 on my power rankings, because my power rankings barely consider ladder. And if it's ladder power rankings, Soju is top two, not even close. Because he's like, and this is not just on current patch, I think just all time history. That man, Soju is a monster at early set and a monster on ladder because he is so good at just at absolutely maximizing his greed and the lack of getting punished. Um,
ladder warrior. I can't.
I hate directly using the term ladder warrior because
I don't think
I don't.
anyone
I think
like any top players are
yeah,
ladder
and
warrior. Like Soldier's not a ladder
he's.
warrior. Like
I was
he is insane
gonna
at
say
learning fast.
exactly what
I
Pressman
agree.
just said. He's so
Yeah.
good at just picking up shit quickly. Like that's why he's always winning or super far ahead in like races to challenger beginning of the set. He is he's ridiculously good at learning the game super fucking quickly. If he is not rank one the beginning like the first week or so of every single set, there's a set he doesn't rank one in the first week, something is wrong. Soju's been kidnapped, and he's clearly been replaced with a fucking android who is garbage, because he's the king of early set, and it's not remotely close. So
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about. I don't want to talk much about the ladder warrior versus like tourney thing, because I think someone who's really good at ladder has potential to be really good at tournament no matter what. It's just like really play styles and stuff. I think like you can have the same play style on ladder and do well in tournament depending on what it is, but that we're not here to talk too much about that. But yeah, it is like there are playstyle differences for sure that you can see, and like you can watch like Soju play in tournament and Soju play in ladder, for example, and you'll see him play a little bit differently, or you'll see you know, whoever else is in a tournament. You'll see P-God in ladder playing differently than P-God in tournament. I don't know. You'll see everyone. Warthog, if he's in a tournament, will play differently probably. It's just a little more people shake of a situation.
I think Soju said like set 9 Prestivan, fucking watch out. Which, you know what, I'll call out Prestivan a little right now.
He has a lot of potential.
Is Prestivan a good tourney player right now? Absolutely I know I'm saying this knowing he's in chat. Absolutely the fuck not. He sucks right now at tournament. He's also just starting TFT tournaments. I'm not saying he's going to be a garbage tourney player forever. He has a ridiculous amount of potential. He's shown that on ladder. He can fucking get there. If he's on now 6 sets of being insane at ladder and just shitting the bed in tournaments, I will straight up call him a ladder warrior. But no flame, by the way. That makes it all okay. But he no flame. Yes, none of this is flame.
No flame after that?
But he has a ridiculous amount of potential. I think him starting to pop off on ladder, it shows he has fucking potential to transfer it to tourneys. Like guys like Appies. If I'm looking at you purely last set, you are. No flame, you were garbage last set in tournament.
Yeah, I was so bad at tournament. No, I was terrible at tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
but
I
look, like you clearly had the potential, and look at you now. What does pants grab have to do with? Oh my god. What does?
No, I think so. I think as long as someone like is willing to put the time in, I will say personally, I'm like twice as good as I was. Like I was, still high challenger consistently last set, but I am like twice as good of a player now as I was then, because I put the time in and I figured it out. And players like P-God or any like Beppo, I think Beppo, he's in chat too, is another example of a player who could be insane with the right effort. I think like Iniko is really good already, but Iniko I think is like, if I was to say who's the next top player, it's Iniko every time. I feel like he is just gonna.
Yeah.
He's so close to being there, and he's so good, consistently.
I think there are a good amount of
he's on
players on ladder who are also right there, who clearly have the fucking potential, or like their potential level, it's like right under the surface of being realized. I think Iniko falls into that category. I think guys like Beppo and Prestivan are like, they're not like right under the surface. They still have a decent way to go before they realize that potential. But it's not like the potential literally doesn't exist. They are clearly good players who, it's not a guarantee they get there, but they can get there. The potential clearly is there for them to be top players. And if Prestivan's
just people we've watched.
If Prestivan is a god in set 9, I will not be fucking surprised, because he clearly has that potential. Will I be surprised if he's not a god in set 9? Not really, but that's set 9. We'll get there. He has room to grow, basically.
Yeah. Yep. I think what's so exciting about watching Zaun Cup, and then we can wrap it up with this, is that obviously there were a lot of old guards that did really well, but there were so many new names that did well consistently. And just to say there were a lot of new names doing well consistently, it's so exciting. Because like TFT, like we're coming to a point where there are like so many people just right under the surface, right? There are people like a little bit under the surface, and there are people just ready to fucking pop off. So it's such an exciting time to be into competitive TFT, or to be a player, a caster, a viewer, pants grabber.
What does pants grab have to do with any of this?
It's just exciting. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Dish Soap, Dish Soap in chat too.
There
he's another
are,
person who's like,
I feel there's
right
so
there,
many different
consistently doing super well
generations
tournament.
of players. Like you have the OGs, like fucking Soju, Milk, Solus, some of them were like set.
Robin.
Robin, I think, came up more
Did
around
Robin
like set
start
3.
later?
Goose in the like super fucking old guard. There's like the old guard, but not quite as old of like people that really came up during set 3. I think like Kiyun, Robin are the best examples of that. Of like they really established themselves in set 3. The set 4, like it's so easy to call it the Zoomer generation because of fucking like Spencer, DQA, Noster, but even guys like Goobums, not non-Tom.
Oh, Asa too.
Oh yeah, Asa is also one of those guys who's like right there. I would say he's realized the potential. He hasn't like he is actively
he's
realizing
really
his potential.
He's so good.
Like I think the set 4 guys,
like
non-Tom as well. Bert, those guys. Then set 5 really didn't produce any new names. I'm gonna be honest. Also, like I think that was
set 5 was
Oh,
that was also just a Smoj set, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess me to some extent was set 4, but now I'm retired. It's fine. And then you have you have this.
But now you're top.
I would not. Caster. Okay, for what it's worth, I would not call myself a top level caster yet. I think it's the same deal. Like I'm just starting out and I have the potential. I legit think I have the potential to be an absurdly good caster.
You're both whales.
But there's this whole generation of set 6 players who are really making a name for themselves. And I think that's the biggest generation right now, or the biggest like set of names, and that's so fucking cool to see. And even within that, it's like it's a mix of players who have been playing the game for a while, but are just now like getting really good, and then some players who have just started the fucking game. Casper started in like set 5.
Yeah, that's insane. I guess Casper was a name from set 5 that I think Casper was on who's radar by the end of set 5, but
like he
set 5 was
there's
so many names coming up right now.
I look at the fucking Zaun Cup like score sheet. There's so many eras of TFT represented, and it's so fucking cool that like not all of the old guard stuck around because it's not completely dominating. But like some old guards stuck around, some like names as the game progressed, and now there's a whole just new batch of players that are getting really fucking good and getting good results, which I think is also what is mattering. Like it's not like every tournament is getting won by a new face to this set. Which so far we've only really had 3, where it's like, and then 2 of them had 4 winners each. But among the 9 tourney winners so far on the cycle, it's been a very healthy mix of names from different eras, and that's the coolest shit.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like a big crossover episode. Pretty fucking cool. It's pretty fucking cool. I don't know. Do we have any questions from chat before we look to? And did you see anything?
I saw one a while back.
I don't think they're.
Yeah.
We can give people a second. Chat, if you have any questions you want us to go over real quick, like we'll pick one and do as we usually do. But we can finish off talking about the Zaun Cup. I think so. The Zaun Cup was definitely. I mean, it was full of ups and downs.
Telling me.
It was like Transfobia saga, format saga, a lot of people coming up saga. There were a whole lot of ups and downs, but it was I think it was very impactful to just like it meant a lot to the history of TFT. I think it's going to see a lot of format changes probably for like day 1, the big open brackets. It sees a lot of people becoming good. It sees a lot of new casters. It's just exciting. I don't know. I've said it like 1,000 times, but it's so exciting. It's so fucking exciting.
Okay, well, I'm gonna address caster power ranking people. No, my caster power ranking is everyone is an S tier and I'm an A tier. That is my caster power ranking. Next question.
Humble God.
Oh, but I think this is a
Humble
good
legend.
one, actually. Do you think the new growth in players relates to the success of the set? And I think, yeah. I think because the set is so successful, just from a
Yeah.
popularity standpoint, that it's enticing more people to come play in general. It's in, it's giving incentive for Riot to make the competitive format more established, and when players see the competitive format as more established, it gives them more incentive to go for it. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of players. A lot like Asa, I think, has talked about. He saw set 6 and decided this is the set I'm going to try my ass off, and he is trying his ass off. And I imagine he is not the only one who is doing that. And um, guys like Non-Tom
Yeah.
coming back, he not Non-Tom, he did barely
exciting.
touched the game in set 5,
And he's so
and
exciting.
he decided to come back in set 6. Like it's really cool. It's cool that we're getting players back. It's cool that the success of the set, I think, does factor into why people want to try so hard. I mean, personally, like, I'm trying so hard to be a fucking caster and make it as a caster because I think the game has a bright fucking competitive future. I wouldn't be going this hard on casting if
Yep.
I didn't think that was the case. I'd be just way more focused on grad school. Hell, I was way more focused on grad school by the end of set 5 because I was not super confident. Um, but now, like, we're in set 6. Set 5 was kind of monkey.
Yeah, and set 5 was
but
monk ass.
like now set 6 around, I'm still in grad school, but like I'm going in on casting because I think the future really is great for TFT. As like cliche and cheesy as that is, I think it's
agree.
True.
Yep. Oh, it is for sure. I mean, this set, no matter how much you get more thogged or you know, some guy in one of my games, I've said this a couple times. Some guy in one of my games a long time ago said he was gonna go to Morthog's house and punch him.
Don't do that.
No matter how much you want to go to Morthog's house and punch him. Also,
don't
weird thing to say. Yeah, super weird thing to say.
That, please, dear God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Don't. No matter how much you might feel like that, one, don't say it, but two, don't feel like that. Regardless, even if you feel like that, the game's fun. Admit it, bitch. Admit it. The game's fun. The game's so fun right now. So, I mean, it's just gonna keep getting more fun as well. They're learning every set, and it's gonna be. I think it's gonna have a really bright future. So, we'll end it out on that note. So have a great night to anyone who is watching and listening. Maybe good morning if you're listening in the morning.
Don't punch more dog.
Except for you guys, if you punch more dog, you're fucked up. Yeah, BG, asshole. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us in any form you may have joined. Make sure to check out each of our Twitch channels. Make sure to check out the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, whatever. Make sure to follow, subscribe on all those sites. And until next time, that's been us.
Wow.